everybody. Welcome to Geology. And here in Earth's Fury and every geology course, we've got to consider the depth of time, the amount of time that the planet has been here. And remember, the theme of this course is thinking about where we humans have built cities and how briefly those cities have been here relative to the age of the planet and how they're in situations where the planet's natural processes are doing its thing. They have before us, they will after us. That's consistent, right? Our little sliver of time here, we've got to figure out how we're gonna interact with these inevitabilities, right? So if we're gonna think about Earth's time, here's a couple places we're gonna look. First off, I just threw a PDF of the chart right here that we're gonna look at. If you would like more detail slash a few different ways of looking at it, in the segment 1 survival guide, I put a link to the page where that comes from. And then I'll talk about that one. And then this, maybe this is silly. Feel free to ignore it. But it's a Chipotle cup I got a couple years ago, which asked the same question. Does it in the manner of if you were to get a tattoo with the formation of the earth on your shoulder and today at the end of your fingertips, what would that look like? Where would things be happening on that timeline? And that's the thing that it's like mind-blowing to picture when you consider Earth's history. Is there's tons of different models to do this. I've seen one where people say, look at the top of the Empire State Building, and this like pencil width at the bottom is the amount of time that humans have been here. It's extremely, extremely brief. If we look at a chart, and don't get intimidated by this, if this looks like an eyeful, don't panic. We're gonna do this bit by bit, and really just look at this broadly, not down to nitty gritty. How have we humans, we're geologists, broken down the history of the planet? And then how is this one, with all of its detail, even maybe misleading? So let's go with, now, this is on that website that I showed. Let's go back to it, make sure we're following along. You can go to that website right there. It's this one. And there's lots of different versions. So there's the regular version, PDF or image, and there's also like some interactive versions. I've never played with that app. Maybe it's cool. The interactive chart online, it really is the same thing. It's just like you can click these and get info that probably is more specific than we need by a long shot. But what I like here, and this is going to be, hey, here's what might show up. We've broken it down by the basic 4 divisions that like is in every course is going to be that there's eons, eras, periods, and epochs. So if you got this on paper, you're looking at it in your head, those 4 right there, right? So how a chart like this is maybe slightly misleading is if you look at the numbers over here. So the Precambrian goes from this date, let's say about 4.6 billion years ago, up to this date, which is only 538 million years ago. So that chunk right there, as much as it's not a giant chunk on this individual chart, it actually is an enormous chunk when it comes to the actual numbers of Earth's history. If we were to do some quick percentages, which we'll do, I already have it on the thing for you, you're going to see that this is an enormous piece of Earth's history right here. Now we break it down after this because this is when it's not the beginning of life here at the beginning of the Cambrian, but it was a moment when life had a very wide, like evolution, a very quick, like adaptive radiation, I think they call it, where all of a sudden a whole lot of different forms started showing up in the fossil record fairly quickly. And from then, we've broken these down by both what was happening with life and what was happening tectonically with the planets. So that's why over here it's just Precambrian, and then the rest is all Phanerozoic, right? And then for eras, we break it down into Paleo, Meso, and Cenozoic. And then from there are the periods. Now, you're not going to have to memorize any of these. Don't worry about that. You can use this chart on the test should you choose to. If you're, a geology major, usually you'll get most of this down by the time you get out of school. Periods being Cambrian, Ordovician, Silurian, Devonian, so on and so on and so on. I won't read them all, right? So the misleading part of these is that what is that bottom chunk is a whole heck of a lot of time. They make this look like one small piece, but if we were to say that whole entire time from the time that the Earth formed up until the beginning of the Cambrian, how long is that really? I ran the numbers, and it's just a little picture down here. So that Precambrian represents 88% of Earth's history. That pink part right there is 88% of Earth's history, leaving just the last 12% to be all this. Now it's more recent. The rock's in better shape, like it hasn't been destroyed by erosion or Earth's processes. We've got a lot more like granularity into what we can see and interpret. And then again, like I said, the evolution of life has given us a lot more to play with here in terms of breaking down all of these different chunks of time. So yeah, like check out some different models. This page, there's a link to it. Some of these are better than others. A time one is a famous one that if we took Earth's entire history and made it a 24-hour day, that humans evolve just not even a full second before midnight. Just the last tiny little tick of the clock is going to be when humans have showed up onto this planet. So to even think about all of human history, going from the pyramids and some of the ancient civilizations to yesterday, is just a monumentally insignificant amount of time compared to the history of the planet. And so grasping that somehow has got to be part of the course if we're going to talk about specifically earthquakes in San Francisco or flooding in New Orleans or whatever it may be, right? We've got to realize that this planet has been here doing its thing for a long, long, long time. This one's kind of neat because they did it by size. And I don't know. I wonder if it's to scale. I guess maybe the perspective here is a little skewed. Does that box look like it is 88% and those boxes are the rest of the 12? We'll see. All right. Sound good. So what are the big themes here? What do you want to get out of it? Just in your head, note those like 4 major divisions, and that's like roughly the percentages, which they're, I mean, or exactly the percentages, I suppose, right? That are written right there. Check it out, see how that goes, and we'll get into the quiz. And I wish you luck on it. Sorry, my voice is bad. Coming back soon, I hope. Take care, everybody.